All right. So this is for if you were absent on Monday or Tuesday, which is the 21st, or sorry, the 20th or the 21st. The 20th was a white day and the 21st was a red day. We did the same thing in both those classes. If at any point you need to pause this and either listen again to what I said or pause the screen so you can just follow those directions, you can do so. So please make sure you take advantage of that. All right, so what I want you to do is you're going to go to your Reading, Writing course in Schoology. You're going to open up the growth portfolio that's in the green folder. You're going to find the slide that with connotation as the skill. It has a yellowish background. And you want to make sure to zoom in so you can see it better. So once you are in the Explorers Reading, Writing course, you're going to see in this green folder. You're going to click on it and you're going to open up your growth portfolio. When you open that up, it's going to look very similar to this. Again, I've already zoomed in, but you're going to find the one that has a yellowish background, which is what's on my screen right now, and it says the word connotation as the skill. Yours right now only has something written in the orange box, and you're actually going to pause this and you're going to type what's in the blue box. So if you want to pause and you want to type that, great. I am going to go ahead and kind of talk to you about what is in the box here. So as a class, we kind of came up with things that you need to include to have a strong response with your CER for connotation. Because last class, we did the learning goal, and I had you guys just try it. I showed this screen on this slide on my screen in class, and you guys had to answer this question on how does the word or phrase impact the meaning of the text. And so we talked about claim, we talked about evidence and reasoning. I had these questions on there to help you or to guide you, and then you did that in your learning journal, which we will look at in a second. So what we did as a class, going back to the growth portfolio, we came up with the things that we need to make sure that we include in our response to have a strong or stronger response. And these are the things that your peers or classmates came up with. So for evidence, you got to have context clues, So what's happening in the text? So for you to say that some word has a positive or a negative connotation, you want to go back to what the text actually says, because that's going to help support whatever your claim is. You need to also make sure that you're having the word or phrase that you found. As I looked back at some of your learning journals, some people just said, my word is negative. And so I don't know what your word is. You just need to make sure that you have the word or phrase that you found in there. You also need to make sure that you have the word negative or positive next to it. I would have some people put like, my word is bad or my word is good. So I'd rather you use the negative or positive, since that's the words we use with connotation, either positive or negative connotation. Something else we talked about was to restate the question. So if this is the question, you're not just going to say, like for instance, odor is negative. I'm not just going to say that. I am going to say, my word odor impacts the meaning of the text in a negative way. So I'm going to restate. I'm going to use the words that were in the actual question to restate the question, to start answering it. Then we talked about reasoning to share knowledge of the word or phrase, because maybe you already have some information about that. Maybe you want to say, usually when this happens, or usually the word odor is used when blank, blank, and blank. So whatever works for you is fine. That's just kind of sharing your own knowledge, or just sharing knowledge of that word or phrase. And then just making sure that you're using CER. I know that this kind of, shuts a lot of people out. They're like, CER, I don't want to do that again. But I put it there because it really does help you to have that organization, to have those possibly just 3 different sentences. Have 1 sentence for claim, 1 sentence for evidence, and 1 sentence for reasoning. But I also want you to know that when I say CER, it's really just me saying, hey, I want you to answer this question, and I want you to support your answer. That's really what's happening. Okay? So again, if you have not paused and typed those into your own blue box, please go ahead and do so. And then we're going to move on to the next one. So again, pause, type those, and then hit play again. All right, so then after you have typed those into your blue box, I'm going to have you now go back. Actually, no, I did this the wrong thing. Sorry. I'm going to have you look at my learning journal. Okay, so this is something that we also did in class. This should look familiar because we did this last class. So together as a class, we went over this. And this was my first response. So this odor was my word that I had, and I found it in a piece of text. Okay, so this was my first shot or first try or first practice to answering this question. How does your word or phrase impact the meaning of the text? By using CER, claim, evidence, reasoning. So when I did that, I went ahead and said, well, my claim is that odor is negative. My evidence is that it is a bad smell. Our reasoning is when something has a bad smell, it is negative. Okay, so I have that. And then what I'm going to do, and that you're also going to do this, so make sure you pay attention. When I did this as a class, this is what I had projected. And we already talked about how these are things we have to have in our response to have a strong response. So let me see if I can pull this out here for you so you can see this a little bit better. Give me just a second. All right, so those are things I need to include. And so what I did is I looked over here, and the class helped me. And I said, okay, what do I have? So I said evidence, context clues, what is happening in the text? I said, well, do I have that? Okay, and so the answer for them, they said, no, I don't. So what I'm going to do is in this reflection part here, I put down the things that I don't have. So I added that. Context clues and evidence from the text. Okay. Oh, sorry. Next thing. Goodness gracious. I have the wrong thing. I'm sorry. I want this thing back up. Sorry. Okay. So we went back to the same thing. Word or phrase. I said, well, do I have it? And they said yes, because I have odor. Positive, negative, I have that. Restate the question. I did not have that. So I put that down here in this reflection piece. Because these are the things that I am going to make sure that I have when I do it the next time. Okay. And then it says share knowledge or of the word or phrase, and this is share my impact, so I could just say share knowledge. I should change that. Okay, on word, so I want to share that knowledge. So the last one was that I used CER, and I did that. So these are the things that I need to make sure that I include into the next time. So then, as a class, we did this together. I copied and pasted this into the next practice section. So all I did was copy this and paste it down here. And then as a class, we went through and said, okay, I'm going to change odor is negative. That's my claim. And I'm going to make sure that I restate that question because that was one of my things I had to work on. So I took odor is negative and I said, okay, I'm going to restate. So I had a student and they said, well, you want to say my word, odor, impacts the text in a negative way. I'm still saying that odor is negative, but I'm saying it by restating. Okay, so that's my claim. And if at any point you want to pause and go do this on your own before I get done, that's fine, you can. But I'm just kind of walking you through the process. Okay, so then we went down to evidence. And what I said at first, I said it is a bad smell. But we changed that because I wanted to make sure that I went to context clues. I wanted to make sure that I had evidence from the text to back up my claim or to support my claim that odor does impact it in a negative way. So I helped them with this since I was the one who found this word. And I said the author is talking about this right here. If you need to use that as like a sentence starter, you can. But then I said the author is talking about a bad smell because there were rotten eggs. Okay, so that just has that the evidence portion. I go back to the text. So in the last part says share knowledge on word. So I'm going to share my own knowledge in the fact of I know that when I smell rotting food, it smells bad. And I don't feel very good. So that has a negative reaction. So my class kind of came up with this. I have had a food rot in my fridge and it smells so bad that I want to vomit, which is a negative reaction. So I'm creating that sandwich or Oreo feel in the sense of I'm starting with, hey, this is negative. And then this is why it's negative. Okay, so I start with it and I end with it just to support that claim that odor impacts the piece in a negative way. All right. So again, if you need to go back and re-look at this or pause it at any point, you can. But what you are going to do is you are going to get into Schoology again because you're going to do the same thing. You're going to revise and edit your own response. So you're going to find your own learning journal. And you're going to go back to your reading writing course. You're going to find the learning journal, which is also in that green folder. I will show you in a second. Find the one that's titled connotation, and then it has a purple background. You're going to zoom in and see it. Okay, so again, you're going to go here. You're back to the reading writing course, green folder. You're going to open up the learning journal, and then you're going to open up yours, and yours should look very similar to this. You should have that purple one, and you should find it, and then you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to look and say, all right, well, on my growth portfolio, where is it at? Sorry. Oh, I closed out of it. Sorry. All right, growth portfolio. I'm going to go back to it. I apologize. So again, you're going to go back to this. Actually, I have this up. Sorry. I'm not meaning to take so much time. Okay, but you're going to go back to this and saying, hey, these are things I have to include to have a strong response. And you're going to look at your first try at it and go, what do I not have? You're going to type that in the reflection part, things you do not have. Then you're going to go down to the second portion, and you're going to revise from what you had, revise it to make it have the things that you left out. Okay? All right, so you're going to try that. Once you are done, you're going to close that. I want you to make sure you email me when you're done so I can take a look at it. Otherwise, follow the rest of the directions that are in the reading writing course for your absent, if absent folder. Okay, so make sure you just follow those directions and you'll be good to go. All right, thanks.